Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Bhakti Sastri and Gita Sastri class. Thank you for joining live with us. Let's begin the session by chanting the prayers, Mangalacharan prayers. I hope you have memorized them or are trying to memorize them. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Ashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Kartushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyasya Kripasindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I hope you are able to hear me clearly enough and loud enough. We are studying chapter 2 of Bhagavad-gita, Sankhya Yoga, or contents of Gita summarized. In the previous lesson we had on Sunday, we covered verses 2.31 to 2.40, in which we mainly discussed the subject matter of Karma Kanda and Sakama Karma Yoga. That you work, Arjuna, for getting the benefit of enjoying the kingdom. And even if you die while fighting in this battle, you will be promoted to heaven. So you will enjoy life here or you will enjoy life there. In both ways, you're going to have a happy life. So that was the impetus that Krishna was trying to give to Arjuna to do his duty of fighting. We do understand that, okay, my voice is breaking up. Is it so for everyone? No. So maybe then at the listener's end, you have to check the internet connection. So the point we discussed that time was Krishna is giving a low-level instruction to Arjuna. Arjuna, you fight for becoming the king, or you fight for emerging victorious, or you fight and die and you go to heaven. And then he tells Arjuna, okay, this is what I told you, but now I'm asking you to fight just as a matter of duty. Rise above personal enjoyment and go to the platform of dutiful work. Dutiful work means you do it whether you are happy about it or not happy about it, right? You do it as a matter of duty, whether it's giving you personal enjoyment or not. It may include some sacrifice, but still you are ready to do that. That's called dutiful work. So Krishna starts instructing Arjuna on that, right? Sukhe dukhe samay kritva labha labho jaya jajo. Sukhe dukhe samay kritva. Whether it is sukha, happiness, or dukkha, distress, whether labh, or alabh means whether you're getting some gain or you're not getting anything. Jai, jai, ajay, whether it's victory or loss, you fight. That's your duty, you fight. And then he told Arjuna something very important, that if you work in this spirit, then whatever work you do, that work will never lead to bondage in the material world. That work will become a source of liberation. Okay. So then he started talking on a new subject called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi means, what does the word Buddhi generally mean? It means basically intelligence. But here, the more appropriate meaning to the word Buddhi would be attitude. You work with a particular attitude, right? So you can say it's a yoga of attitude that Krishna is teaching Arjuna, working in a particular manner. Everyone works in this world. Who is there in this world who is not working? I mean, people do. Everyone is working in some way or other. But what is Krishna telling Arjuna here? Change the attitude of your work. He's not telling Arjuna, change your work. He's telling, change the attitude of your work, behind your work. You are a Kshatriya, you remain a Kshatriya, but you change the way you are thinking, your attitude. And that is the central teaching of Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad-gita is all about how I, as a person, change my attitude towards the world, towards my duties and responsibilities, towards my relationship with people, towards the goal of life, towards how I live, what are my principles and values. I bring a change in my mindset. That's what Bhagavad-gita is all about. So Krishna is telling Arjuna to do that. Then it's going to be the same battle. It's going to be the same battlefield. It's going to be the same enemies, same friends. Everything remains the same. Before Gita was spoken, after Gita was spoken, nothing changed. Only one thing changed. What? Arjuna's way of thinking. That's what changed, right? So people who misunderstand Bhagavad Gita, they derive these meanings of Bhagavad Gita, that Bhagavad Gita will make you leave your house, will make you leave your responsibilities, will make you do this, will make you do that, which means they think Bhagavad Gita is going to bring a lot of change in your externals. Actually, that is not the truth. What Bhagavad Gita will change is inside me. I will change as a person. And when I change a person, that may bring a change in my externals. But changing the external is not the prime focus of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. What is Bhagavad Gita trying to teach is you change as a person. So that's what is being told to Arjuna. And we started with that section. We heard the glory of Buddhi Yoga in verse 60, verse number 40. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna is encouraging Arjuna by telling, even if you put little effort in this path, on this path, you are going to get eternal benefits for that, right? And the best thing is, a human being who has practiced Buddhi Yoga for just a short period of time saves himself or herself from becoming an animal in next life. That is the benefit of this particular yoga system, that at least that person will not again become an animal in next life, will at least get a human body, which is such a nice thing, you know, save so much of time going to animal kingdom and then coming back to human species. So now that Buddhi Yoga is being explained in detail in verses 41 onwards. Before we go there, we will do the Mangalacharan, specifically that we have chosen for our Bhagavad Gita study. Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullarvindayata Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namaha. One-pointed intelligence. Verse number 41. We will chant verses 41 to 46 first, then we'll explain them. 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Long purport. 42. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitaha vedavadarataha partha nanyat asti tivadinaha kamatmanah swargapara janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhog aishwarya gatim prati. Next verse, 2.44. Bhog aishwarya prasaktanam tayapahita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. Verse number 45. Traigunya vishaya veda nistraigunyo bhavarjuna nirdvandva nitya sattvastho niryoga shema atmavan. And 2.46. Yavan artha udappane sarvatah samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vichanatah. Okay, so coming to 2.41. Now this verse is a very special verse. Why it is a very special verse? Because this verse was a key point in inspiring Srila Prabhupada to go to Western country. This verse inspired him to really take up that mission very seriously, that I want to go to West and I want to fulfill the order of my spiritual master. And how did he get that inspiration? When he was reading the commentary on this verse by Srila Vishvanatha Chakravarti Thakura. He read some lines there which made him so focused, so determined to execute this mission of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So what is that special thing about this verse, and what is it telling? So let's look at the Sanskrit first. Vyavasay atmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana. This is very important for us to understand, because in this section which we are going to study now, we'll get such important concepts to apply in our life, which will help us to grow tremendously in spirituality, in Krishna consciousness. So here it says, Vyavasay atmika buddhihi. Those of you who are from Indian origin or who know vernacular languages, Sanskrit, the word Vyavasay means occupation. Vyavasay. Like you ask a person, what is your Vyavasay? Then that person will say, I'm a shopkeeper, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm this, I'm that. So Vyavasay means occupation. Okay, the profession that you do to maintain your livelihood, that's called Vyavasay. Or you do something to keep yourself busy, that's called Vyavasay. And Atmika means totally absorbed, totally engrossed. Atmika means totally bringing it close to the self, to the Atma. That this is the only thing that you live for. That's called Atmika. So Vyavasay Atmika means you have taken a particular activity as your life and soul. That's called Vyavasay Atmika. I mean, my life is dedicated to do this one thing. That's all. 24 hours a day, every single moment, I'm thinking about this thing. Okay? And Buddhi means intelligence. So here the translation goes like this. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So here we are getting the explanation about two kinds of intelligence. One intelligence is one-pointed and another intelligence is many-branched, multi-branched intelligence. When you say multi-branch intelligence, it means you are making plans to attain hundreds of varieties of goals in life. That's called multi-branched intelligence. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. You have so many goals, so many ambitions, so many projects. And that's how your intelligence is scattered. It's everywhere, right? What happens with that is then we are always jumping from one thought to another thought, right? Because you have so many things to do, you will jump actually. You will jump from one thing to another thing because there will be an anxiety. I have to do this, I have to do that. This is pending, that is to be done. You'll have that anxiety. That's called multi-branch intelligence. And one-pointed intelligence means there is only one thing. Here, when we say one thing, it doesn't mean that there's only one activity. I'm only eating or I'm only sleeping. No, it doesn't mean that. It means whatever you do for one particular goal. One-pointed intelligence, one particular goal, one final thing. So what Srila Prabhupada is going to explain here later in the purport is that for anyone who is in this material world, it's not possible to have one-pointed intelligence. Why? Because in this material world, we have so many desires to fulfill. So definitely we'll have a multi-branched intelligence, a many-branched intelligence, right? We have so many things to get, so many things to achieve, so many things to do in this world. So for whom is it possible to have that one-pointed intelligence? So that's only possible for someone who has made one goal as the ultimate goal and only goal of life, which is, I want to attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. One-pointed intelligence. That is possible for such person. Pure intelligence, or Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur says, best intelligence, the best kind of intelligence. So we'll see a bit more on that, one-pointed intelligence. If you have a question, Mataji, I'll take that after we complete this verse. So, Vyavasaya Atmika intelligence. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, a strong faith that by Krishna consciousness, one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasaya Atmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2262 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishvasa Kohe, Sudrida Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. So the intelligence fixed in occupation of practicing Krishna consciousness, that's called Vyavasaya Atmika intelligence. And how do you get that intelligence? That intelligence develops on the basis of faith. It's a faith-driven intelligence. And that faith is based on one's knowledge and experience that by serving Lord Krishna, I'll get all success in life. That's faith. Further, he writes, the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on that determination. That intelligence is based on knowledge. What is that knowledge? Vasudevaha sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabhaha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches. So by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Why will that happen? Because he is the root. And if I put water in the root, then that water is going to spread everywhere. It's going to bring benefit to everyone. A common difficulty a person may have in accepting these statements is if that person starts thinking worshipping Krishna or serving Krishna means neglecting everyone else, right? So then one may think, why to be so exclusively focusing on Krishna only, if by doing that everyone else in this world is going to suffer? But they forget the point. When we say Krishna, here Krishna doesn't refer to some being who is disconnected from everything else. Here Krishna refers to someone who is totally connected to every single thing that exists in the world. So when I satisfy Krishna, that satisfaction goes to everyone. everyone gets satisfied. Just like you put water on the root of the tree, then the water is spread everywhere throughout the tree. Everyone is going to be satisfied, right? So here Sripad is saying, when we'll develop that kind of intelligence, then we will be having Vyavasayatmika buddhi. One-pointed. Why it's one-pointed? Because the purpose of my actions is to please one personality, one goal. Whatever I do is for that goal. I don't have hundreds of thousands of goals. Every single thing I do, it's for that one goal. And when you do that, you are acting as the most efficient person in this world. Because by satisfying that one person, you are satisfying everyone. You are satisfying all the demigods, you are satisfying all the human beings, you are satisfying all the living entities, everyone. Like I'll tell you one incident. Once one person was debating with Srila Prabhupada, and that person told Srila Prabhupada that service to man is service to God. What did he say? Service to man is service to God. So why you need to serve God? You serve humanity, and by that you are doing service to God. So this is the logic that he was putting to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is such a brilliant person. You cannot defeat him in arguments. Never. Once someone asked Srila Prabhupada, what is your favorite sport? What did he say? Debating. That's my favorite sport. I like to debate with people. That's my favorite sport. So you cannot defeat Srila Prabhupada in debate. That person said, service to man is service to God. So Prabhupada said, that's what I am also telling you. I am also telling the same thing. If you say service to man is equal to service to God, I am telling you service to God is equal to service to man. It's the same thing. I am not telling you a different thing. Service to God is equal to service to man. And then he said, who is more intelligent? Now, when you say service to man, then there are a billion people or so many billions of people on this planet. You cannot serve each one of them. If you can serve each one of them, then you can say, I did the job completely. Service to man is service to God. But here I am telling you, you serve one God. And by doing that, you can serve all the people. Who is more intelligent? That person had to keep quiet. No answer. Right? So this is the point that we are discussing here. You serve the absolute truth. Going back to introduction study of Bhagavad-gita, you serve the absolute truth. Absolute truth means what? Ishvara, Jiva, Kala, Prakriti, Karma. All five, isn't it? Supreme Lord, time, material nature, living entities, karma, all five. So if I'm serving absolute truth, I'm serving everything that is there. I serve Krishna, I'm serving everyone. When I'll develop that intelligence, then that intelligence is called Vyavasayatmika buddhi. One-pointed intelligence, that I want to put all my efforts to direct everything that I have to the root cause, and that will spread its benefit everywhere. That's the point. That's the point. So another crude example that Srila Prabhupada used to give is, if you want to give money to the government, you give to the central government. And through the central government, if the government is not a corrupted one, the money will get spread to all the departments, to all the employees, and they all will be benefited. Instead of going to every single government employee and paying the tax, you pay the tax to the central government. And then the government distributes the money which is received as a tax. So similarly, I serve Krishna, and my service then gets distributed to everyone else around. That's the whole point which is being explained here. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. The cause of that faith is knowledge. Whereas multi-branch intelligence is something different. Okay, so we discussed now about one branched or one-pointed intelligence. Next is multi-branch intelligence. Next verse number 42-43. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avapishritaha. So here it comes. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. Please try to understand these statements. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. What does the flowery word mean? Flowery word means you do this, you will get this, you do that, you will get that. Flowery word means it's giving you some kind of incentive. Okay, if I worship Indra, I'm going to get this material benefit. If I worship Surya, I'm going to get this material benefit. If I worship Durga, I'm going to get this material benefit. Such words are called flowery words. They are very attractive, meaning they're very attractive, right? So, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. In India, this is very common. Of course, in all the religions, you find it, that people worship different demigods, or they do different kinds of religious ceremonies to get something in return. There's a purpose to it, right? I do this yajna to get this. I do that yajna to get this. I go to the temple, I do this worship, give 5,000 rupees donation. I ask for some material benefit and I get that. So that's called fruitive mentality. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there's nothing more than this. If you ask them what is the purpose of life, this is the purpose of life, right? That you do so many different things just to be happy. That's what they would say. And so that's called multi-branch intelligence, multi-branched, having many branches. I'm not reading the purport here. I hope you have read it. If not, read it later. So what causes that multi-branching? What causes that multi-branching of intelligence? These two things, Bhoga, Aishvarya. Bhoga, Aishvarya, Prasaktanam, 𝗹𝗶𝗿𝗹 Chetasam. These two things cause that multi-branching. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhiyate. So this verse says, in the minds of those who are too attached, it's very important to know this. It's not saying who are attached. It is saying too attached to two things, sense enjoyment and material opulence, bhog and aishvarya. Too attached to that, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So this becomes like an obstacle, a challenge, cannot take place in the mind of such person. What cannot take place? That strong determination to only exclusively serve the root cause called Krishna. That will not happen. That determination will not take place. And this is something very true. In India, you still have so many people, if you go and tell them, explain to them the process of Krishna consciousness, the philosophy, they will say, we cannot accept it. Why? Because we have to worship so many demigods. We have to worship. If you ask them why you have to worship, if you don't worship them, then all our material supply will get over. You know, we are getting so much from them. We worship this demigoddesses, then we are getting this benefit. We worship that, we are getting this benefit, that. How can we stop this? We cannot stop this. So that resolute determination will not come in the mind of such a person. So what is the obstacle? Very strong attachment to Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga Aishwarya means basically material power and material enjoyment. Two things. The hunger for material enjoyment and the hunger for material power. Material power means I want to become someone great. I want to become the president, the prime minister. I want to become the best sportsman, the best, business giant or management coach or something like that. I want to achieve something very, very remarkable, distinct, unique, and I want to stand out from others. So that kind of mentality, too much of attachment to it. You see, there are two different things. One is because of your good karma, you are getting nice, bhoga and nice aishwarya. That is one thing. But another thing is that you have a strong craving for it, strong desire for it. Those are two different things. So for one who has a strong craving for it, one will not be able to develop strong determination to practice Krishna consciousness. But for one who is having it, but is not so much attached to it. I mean, it's there. If it is there, I'm okay. If it's not there, I'm okay. Right? If it's there, I use. If it's not there, I don't use. Something like that. Then that person will not be affected by it. But those who have a strong craving, like really, really burning desire, very, very, very strong, passionate desire for it, for them it becomes very difficult to develop resolute determination in Krishna consciousness. Very, very difficult. They cannot give up those ambitions, that passion, they cannot give up. That will not allow them to take to Krishna consciousness seriously. So now you have to do one exercise. We'll give you maybe 5 minutes to 8 minutes to discuss amongst yourselves in small groups. What's wrong with living life king size and enjoying it to one's fullest capacity while doing so in the lawful manner? Lawful manner means you don't break rules, you don't commit crime, you don't engage in sin. You are a very pious person, you follow all the rules of the government, the laws of the state, and you also live life as explained in the scriptures. You don't do wrong things. And you are living a life king size, very, very opulent, luxurious, comfortable, and you have lots of power and position, recognition. So what's wrong with that? I mean, it's okay. You can live like that, and at the same time you can practice Krishna consciousness. So you need to discuss about this, that why is it so important. Here Krishna is telling Arjuna, if you have these two things, you will not get strong determination. That's Krishna's explanation to Arjuna. So we have to now discuss how is it happening. I'm making breakout room groups. Please discuss. We have 65 people, so we have 11 groups. And at the end of the discussion, before that itself, make sure you have appointed a group leader. At the end, we will have only group leader give out the points, right? And 1 point from each group is sufficient. Otherwise, it will take so much time. So please join the groups. Thank you. Okay. So we hope you had a good discussion and you could bring out some good points about the topic. 3 hands up. Any other group? Only 3 groups are presenting? What about other groups? All right. Generally, I see every time you happen to choose the same group leaders. It's good if all try to volunteer to, lead the group or bring up the points. Right? Everyone should try. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think one more group is supposed to join and contribute. Fine. Let's start with first Harinit Mataji. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, now you can. Are you able to unmute? Not able to unmute? Okay. Can you now?
Yes.
Something is wrong. It's not. Yeah,
Prabhuji, so we started off with one very important discussion that if one is born into opulence and if one has access to all these things, what should one be doing? So one very important point came up, which is Yukta Vairagya. Means that we should not be attached to it and we should be utilizing this for the benefit of spreading Krishna consciousness, because if we are attached to it, all this is all temporary and it can cause sadness, it can cause happiness, it can be an hindrance in self-realization. So the most important thing that we discussed about was Yukta Vairagya. And also if we have all this our opulence and sense gratification objects, then will it become a hindrance in the self-realization? Yes, it will. But with the study of the scriptures, we start transcending all these points and we understand the concept of Yukta Vairagya.
Okay, got the point. So the main thing that you wanted to tell is, if someone has opulence, and then what should someone do? And so the answer is Yukta Vairagya. Okay, good, fine. Usha Mataji. I think there's something wrong with my internet connection. Hare Krishna.
We are able to hear you, Prabhuji.
Sorry. My mic was off. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. If we enjoy our life to the fullest, and I think our group thought that it will be only sense gratification, wherein we will become the absolute enjoyer, and we will not be making Krishna as the center of any of our activities. And even at the end of our life, the only thing is we will not think of Krishna at all, and we will suffer even after we leave our material body. So it's very important that we can do the same activities. Even if we want to eat something, we thought that why don't we offer it to Krishna and then have it as prasadam. So all your activities should be Krishna centered, and then we all will be living in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So other groups, do you have a different point to say, or all of you concluded same manner that?
Yes, we have a different point.
Okay, tell.
First point was, this is called Dukhalya Ashashvatam. So even if we live the life king size and try to get happiness and satisfaction, that happiness and satisfaction both will be very temporary and short-lived. So ultimately in this life, we will remain unhappy and unsatisfied. Number two, when we are going the life king size, it is said that too much attachment to material life and Krishna consciousness cannot go together in one of the purports we had read. So we'll be forgetting Krishna when we don't make, we are working for our satisfaction, not for Krishna's satisfaction. So we will not be going back to Godhead again after enjoying, even if we enjoy lawfully and we do some gratuitous activities also, we'll be coming back to this world as a human form. We will not be going to the back Godhead.
Okay. And one more? Any other point?
I want to.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Coming. Fine. So Ashok Prabhu, thank you. Sumashini Padma Mataji, a different point or?
No, Prabhuji, only this one.
Okay.
Temporary, that also we also discussed, the results are only temporary.
Temporary.
And then the resolute determination to devotional service, that doesn't happen.
Very good. Okay, good. Fine. Kavya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm representing group number 6. So there are 3 new points which we discussed as a team. One is repeated life cycle will be there when we are too much attached to the material stuff. Like we will give more importance to earning and other material things, and we will forget about Krishna consciousness, and because of that birth and death will be repetitive. The second one is, with too much of king size life, we will get in future, that is aham bhav. Everything is because of me, everything we earned because of my hard work. It is not because of Krishna. So we always tag everything as me or I, not Krishna. Third point, when we get bored of the material things, we will forget everything, because material things, there is no end point. We always thirst for it, so which is a bad sign. And fourth one is, when we are too much attached to the material power and other things, we will be having only people who are having that kind. We will get the association of the people who are having that kind of thinking, not with the devotional mindset.
Okay, good points. Yeah, fine. Tina Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm representing group number 3, and the points I'm discussing is beyond like everybody.
There's some noise from your background.
Okay, 1 second.
As we cannot hear you clearly. I'll go to someone else and come to you.
Prabhuji, am I audible now?
Yeah. Okay.
Prabhuji, am I audible now?
Yes, please tell.
Okay, Prabhuji, the points that were discussed on the behalf of all the team members, when somebody is opulent, simultaneously the person is also a devotee. But if that person is utilizing that fame and that opulence in the service of the Lord, that I don't think, or the team members do not think that is any harm. For example, Prabhupada ji, he used the best marbles, best furnitures for the temple.
So fine, that's okay. So you are taking a particular context that person is a devotee. We are asking in general. Doesn't matter that person is a devotee, non-devotee, whatever. The point is, living a life king size, even if you are doing in a lawful manner, whether you are devotee, not devotee. We are asking you, is there anything wrong about it? That's all. No, not that, okay, solutions, how it can be done. What's wrong about it? That's all we are asking.
So these are so these were the points, Prabhuji, given by the team members. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So please answer to the point. What's wrong with it? Not about solution, what can be done, what cannot be done, right? It does this point. What's wrong about it? Kapil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Our first point is, if by the will of our karma, we got an opulent life, and if we are enjoying it, and Krishna is not a center point, then ultimately we are creating karma for our next life, and we'll be in the cycle of birth and death for forever, from one species to another species to another species. And the second point is, Prabhuji, when we live an opulent life and we are used to it, it becomes our habit. And when our habit comes into our sanskara, then it is very, very difficult to get away from that. and we always keep on hankering for more and more and more, and we only being surrounded by the sense of sense gratification. Our object is only and only sense gratification.
Okay, good points. So you gave about the obstacles. Yeah, good points. Fine, Mahesh Prabhu.
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam Guruji. The question was very tough actually, that what's wrong in living king-size life and enjoying it to the fullest while doing so in lawful manner. So in the group's opinion, there is nothing wrong. Only thing is, the problem is that when I consider myself as the enjoyer, the owner of everything, and do it as if, you know, it is all mine, nothing is, and everything I want it over here and I am enjoying it, then it is wrong. When I think that, when I strongly believe that it is not mine, it is, I am just an agent, Bhagwan Krishna has given it to me, I am just for a temporary period, okay, for whatever, you know, whether it is 1 day, 1 year, whatever, that is the only thing. I am just a nimitta. I am here as an agent. Then everything is okay. Otherwise, it is not okay. Because
okay, fine. I got your point. Then it's okay. So there's nothing wrong about it, right? So what's wrong is basically you identified when I think it's mine and I enjoy it with that attitude. That's the wrong thing, correct? So if, let's say, I think it is Krishna's and Krishna has given to me, then I can enjoy. Then there's no problem in enjoying. Right? Because Krishna has given it to me to enjoy, right? Then there's no problem. So then that is the lawful manner only, no? What is meant by lawful? Lawful means God has given to you. You did not steal from God. God gave it to you. That's lawful. So in that, there is nothing wrong. That's what you say. Okay, fine. Paramita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we have similar points as discussed. But similar points that have already been discussed, but one point is that quality of life will get elevated being connected to Krishna, and we will get the sukarma, because all the work that will be dedicated for Krishna, and we will have the sense that we are doing it for Krishna. So we will get sukarma and we will get rid of the cycle of life and birth.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, Basanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes.
We are representing room number 9. Prabhu Kennedy gave a very valid point right in the beginning of the discussion. What is wrong with the living life king size? The answer what was discussed in the group, and I am highlighting his point. It will not allow us to go spiritually, and Lord Krishna himself will bereft all the material things. He will make the person beggar because Maya is very, very strong. This point was really attractive for me, so I am not reading the other points. Kennedy Prabhu gave this point.
Okay, got your point. Anju Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandrat Pranam. Though I am from room number 3, I would like to place my views over here, because see, it's given in the shlok itself that samadho na vidyate. So too much of bhog and aishwarya will not help us to be one-pointed, have a one-pointed attention. Even in Nectar of Instruction, it is given that even though you have too much of opulence, it doesn't mean that you make very rich food every day and serve Lord and have it. Okay, oh, it is the prasad and I should have sumptuous food, or I should have sumptuous of aishwarya because it is all God's. And so that's not healthy for our Krishna consciousness. And we are not talking about people or some exceptions, but we are just like sadhaks and we are just the beginners. And for us, it will always lead us in the other way. It won't be.
Fine, thank you. Okay, so good points. Now you see, Bhog Aishwarya. We should know one thing. Bhog means tendency to enjoy. Aishwarya means tendency to have power and position in this world. The idea, the real understanding is this, that I am in this world because of these two things. These two things are the cause why I am in the material world. Why a jiva is in the material world is because of these two things. That's the root cause of my original disease or original, tendency to do wrong. So how can this thing be actually good for my spiritual life if that's the cause of my problem? It cannot be, because that's the underlying cause. What's wrong with why we say Ravana is a demon? Why? Because of these two things. Isn't it? Correct? Why we say Hiranyakashipu is a demon? Because of these two things. Bhoga and Aishwarya. So much of attraction towards it. Now there are people who may not be doing it in an unlawful manner. They are doing it in a lawful manner, but still, whether you do it lawfully or you do it unlawfully, if you're doing the same thing, ultimately, then it's not going to be accepted as the right thing, right? Like, for example, I do it lawfully, but still if I'm doing the same thing, then it's not going to take me spiritually very, very high. So what the scripture says is that I have come to this world because I have certain desires. What I should do? I can try to fulfill those desires in a lawful manner. I can do that, because if I don't fulfill those desires, then that hankering will always remain. So I can do it in a lawful manner, right? I can do it in a lawful manner. But I should not keep on just increasing the number of desires that I have, because there is no end to it. There is no end to it. Like to give an example, okay, you want to get married, so you get married in a lawful manner. But that doesn't mean that, oh, I get married to one man or one lady and I'm not happy, then go to the second one, then go to the third one, then go to the fourth one, then go to the 10th one, and then keep on just, entering into that again and again. That's not going to help, right? Isn't it? Okay, you want to earn money, you want to have a good house, fine, have a good house. But then someone thinking, no, I should have a house in Switzerland also, in London also, in Paris also, in India also, and then in US also, right? And then I want to have a house there also, in the island also, I need a house. That's really, really crazy. Too much of attachment to Bhoga and Aishwarya. That will not any time be helpful in practicing Krishna consciousness. Not possible, because one will be always hankering about those things. So here, if you are put in a situation by Lord Krishna that you have a lot of opulence, or you have a lot of opportunities to enjoy life, we can still remain safe if we give up the enjoyment mentality and we take up the utility principle. These are two different things. Utility principle and enjoyment mentality. Enjoyment mentality is, I use these things ultimately to make myself happy. Utility principle means Krishna has given me, I use these things to serve Krishna, to serve Vaishnavas, to serve the human society. I do it as a matter of duty. So one can be in a king's position, and at the same time one can use that position to serve Krishna. Right? But for that, what is needed? A strong root. Strong rooting is needed in Krishna consciousness. A strong training is needed in Krishna consciousness. Right? A strong foundation is needed in Krishna consciousness. Then it's possible. If that foundation is there, then it's not possible. Then it's not possible. Right? Then one will get easily distracted. So Bhoga and Aishwarya, it has to be seen as a challenge only. It has to be seen as an obstacle only. It is not something which is to be celebrated in one sense. But then it's like, you are using that, just like it said, best use of the bad bargain. You're using that situation to transcend that situation. You're using that situation to come out of that situation, not to get deeper and deeper and deeper engrossed in that situation, isn't it? To come out of that, to be able to then go back to the spiritual world, go back to Lord Krishna, be in one's own original position. That's how it is to be used. Some of you spoke about Yukta Vairagya. We'll discuss that more when we study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And then someone is saying, how about Ambarish Maharaj and Pondered Vidyanidhi? Of course, they are such examples. So then who is Ambarish Maharaj and who is Pondered Vidyanidhi? They are eternally liberated associates of Lord Krishna. If you are, then Bhoga and Aishwarya will not touch you. But if you are not, then Bhoga and Aishwarya will touch you. Right? So when we apply rules, the rules apply as per the person. correct? So when we give examples of Srila Prabhupada or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta or other acharyas, we should know they are in a different category than us. They are in a very different category. They are like who? They are like, lotus which cannot become affected by the mud. They are like that, right? But we are not like that. If we are in mud, we will become mud. We will not remain lotus anymore. We are not like that. And why is it so? It is so because of our wrong association for so many lifetimes, right? It's like if a person is sick for a long period of time, then it takes time for that person to become cured. It is not going to happen soon. That state will come for each one of us also, that we can become like lotus in the mud, but that will take time. I cannot imagine to be there immediately. That's very risky, right? That I start imagining I'm already there. That's very risky, correct? So it will take time for us to come to that state. So that's why what should be our attitude? Even if we are getting opportunities to enjoy, and even if we are getting opportunities to be in a powerful position, first of all, we should always think twice whether this is going to become a big obstacle in my Krishna consciousness. If yes, don't jump into it, right? Don't jump into it, right? Don't take such a risk. Don't take such a risk. And then if you are sure that with the guidance of other devotees, with the help and support of other devotees, you can use that situation to serve Krishna, you are sure about that, then again be careful that I don't have that enjoyment mentality. I have that utility mentality. I'm using it. And if by chance Krishna takes it away from you, then be ready for that also. Like, for example, let's say if today you are getting an opportunity to ride in Mercedes-Benz, then you should be ready tomorrow if you have to go by auto rickshaw. It's okay. I have to travel, whether it's by Mercedes or by auto rickshaw. It doesn't matter to me, isn't it? If we are having that kind of attitude, we are very safe. Very safe. Very, very safe. Because we are using things, but we are not getting attached to it. Right? But if we are of that attitude, no, it has to be this only. If these conditions don't exist, I cannot exist, or I cannot be a devotee, or I cannot practice Krishna consciousness, or I cannot be happy, then it's very risky. I cannot then have a strong determination in practicing Krishna consciousness. Very difficult. Okay. So we go to the next now, next verse. You all did a good discussion. Next verse is rise of gunas. Traigunya vishaya veda nistre gunya bhavajuna nirdvandva nitya sattvasto niryoga shema atmavan. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. So what is Krishna telling Arjuna? If you study the Vedas, the majority of the Vedic shlokas will give you knowledge that you do this, you get this benefit. That's called karma kanda. So don't get involved into that study of the Vedas. That's why, Srila Prabhupada did not encourage members of ISKCON to just study all the Vedas. Go and study Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, because in the entire Vedic, the entire Vedic scheme, most of the content is to encourage material enjoyment in a lawful manner. So that's not really healthy for spiritual growth. So we need not study all the Vedas when we know it is of karma kanda. So Arjuna is being told by Krishna, don't touch that portion of the Vedas. Go to which portion? Which portion? Nistray Gunyo Bhavarjuna. Go to Jnana Shastras or Bhakti Shastras, because they will help you achieve liberation or devotion. Go to these two sections. Which are they? Jnana Shastra and Bhakti Shastra. Go to Upanishads or go to devotional scriptures. Go to these two scriptures. Don't go to other scriptures. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So here now Though Krishna told Arjuna before to fight, to win the battle, to emerge victorious and enjoy the kingdom, now Krishna is telling Arjuna to come up, don't stay on that level, rise above, reject that mentality, work as a matter of duty. So go beyond karma kanda. Someone can kindly read this. Yes.
Prabhuji?
Okay, Kavya Mataji.
Okay.
Go beyond karma kanda. All material activities involve actions and reactions in the three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is Brahma Jignasa, or questions on the supreme transcendence. Transcendence.
So,
2.46 per
yeah. Why the Vedas say, Vedas speak about karma kanda? Because as I mentioned last time to you, this example, there are people who want to commit crime and enjoy. So at least the Vedas are telling, don't commit crime. You want to enjoy in a lawful manner, but don't commit crime. So that's needed for them, that you at least be good citizens, right? But then it's not said that you just stay there. What is encouraged is you rise above that, you progress, you go beyond that, go beyond karma kanda. That's the next verse again, 2.46. Yeah, very beautiful verse actually, 2.46. Yavan artha udapane sarvatah samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya Vishvanatha. It's such a beautiful analogy here. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. What is the explanation given by Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur? He says, in the olden days, in villages, people used to go to different wells for different purposes. Like there would be a well for drinking water, there would be a well to wash the clothes, there would be a well to fetch cooking water, there would be a well to draw water for bathing. They won't use one well water for all the purposes. There will be different wells, and there would be wells separately kept for the brahmanas, there would be wells separately kept for the kings, there would be wells separately kept for the worship of the deities. Different wells for different purposes, not one well for all purposes, right? That was the arrangement. So it would be very time-taking task. Like if you want to do so many activities in one day, you have to go to so many different wells, fetch the water. Very time-taking task, very tiring also. However, if in that village there is only one river or one lake, you can go to one lake and do all the things. You can wash clothes, fetch drinking water, take bath, even you can worship the deity with the water from that river or lake. So what is the point being explained? Instead of going to so many wells, better is to go to one river. Likewise, instead of worshipping so many demigods, worshipping one supreme Lord, Krishna. Then it's less time taking, less tiring, and you are going to get all the benefits. Another meaning is that instead of studying so many branches of Vedas, you just study the section of Bhakti. Then you are going to get all the benefits, right? Like that. Yeah, I'm going to give the break. Just after this verse is over, we're going to give the break. So two things. One is by serving Krishna, who is like river or lake, you get the benefit of approaching all the demigods who are like the wells. Second thing, by studying specific section of the Vedas, which is related to Bhakti or Jnana, you need not study the other section of the Vedas, which are like wells. No need to go there. Just go to the river or lake. That's the explanation. Go to the Buddhi Yoga. Don't go to Karma Kanda. or demigod worship. That is being explained by Krishna to Arjuna by this shloka. Okay, so we covered these verses. Take a break, come back after that. We can take 4 to 5 minute break. Okay, welcome back. So we're discussing about the well and the river analogy. Practicing Krishna consciousness is like going to the river or the lake, and going to different demigods is like going to different wells. or, reading the bhakti section of the scriptures is to the river or lake, and reading different parts of the Vedas is like going to the wells. Able to hear me? I think not. I'm disconnected.
Prabhuji, your video is frozen.
Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear me? Okay, I had some network disconnection.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry for the disconnection. So we were discussing about well and river analogy. I hope that's clear. Now let's do a quick exercise. What are some advantages of approaching the river than the well or different wells? What would be the advantages? Can we make a list of it? You can just voice them out or put that in the chat box. What are the different advantages of going to the river, then going to the different wells? Navanidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. River water is pure because it is running water, flowing water.
And always pure, very good, always pure, running water. So how is it useful? Seema Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's not stagnating, so you have the purity moving. I mean,
Purity, same point, right? Purity, always pure. So
yes,
what other advantage?
Well, water is stagnated, but
yeah, understood. So what is the advantage? What is the advantage?
It's fresh. It is always fresh.
Fine, fresh, pure, same thing. Okay, so we are getting some points in the chat box. You can start speaking, those who have hands up. If you have a different point, you can start speaking.
It saves time.
It saves time.
Contaminated. The well water mostly gets contaminated if it is not far from the manholes, because we have to be very careful whenever we are.
Okay, we are not talking about the present situation. We are talking about the situation in the past when all the rivers were clean, right? We are talking about that. So let's not go out of the context. Take it in the context, proper context, that there are so many wells in a village and there is a river. What are the advantages of going to the river than going to the well? I think there are some points in the chat box and all of you are going to agree with that. Saves time. Yes, it saves time. And all purposes are solved. Okay. What else? Correct. Saves time. You can do everything. Yes. Less what to say, amount of effort. Okay, good. What else? Saves time, saves labor. 1 point, we'll get everything, less effort, easy access, recharge ground, more people can collect. Very good point. More people can collect, more people can benefit. Yes. Okay, so good points. Yeah, I think that's all some more. If you think you can add, please put in the chat box. Fine. So we saw that it's very advantageous to approach the river than to go to individual wells. Likewise, Buddhi Yoga is much more advanced, which we discussed 2.41 to 2.46. What we covered is called Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Bhakti Yoga as a form of Buddhi Yoga. Now, what we'll discuss in verses 2.47 to 2.53, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is something you can note later on for your personal studies. 2.41 to 2.46, what we just discussed is Bhakti Yoga. And what we are going to discuss from verses 2.47 to 53 will be Nishkama Karma Yoga. They are different. There are differences in that. In detail, we'll study them more in chapter 3, chapter 5. Here, chapter 2 is only giving them a brief summary of these different yoga systems. Fine. Is my voice cracking, breaking?
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine. So, verse number now 2.47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangostu karmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, you must perform your karma, your work, which is to fight. Karmani eva dhikaraste. It's your right. It's your right to fight, so you should fight. But you should not fight for enjoying the results of your fighting. You should not. Now, if Arjuna says, if I don't enjoy, what's the point in fighting? I don't want to fight. So then Krishna says, no, you cannot even do that. You must fight because that's your duty. So here that principle is coming, that I have to act for the sake of duty and not for the sake of getting something in return. That's what makes it Nishkama Karma Yoga. It means you act in a dutiful manner. You must work, Arjuna. That's being explained here. So we have something very interesting to understand. There goes an argument between Krishna and Arjuna, as explained by the Acharyas. So Arjuna says, since I am not this body, I need not work. Why should I work? I am not this body. I am not a Kshatriya. If I am not this body, I am not a Kshatriya. If I am not a Kshatriya, why I should fight? I don't want to fight. So Krishna says, no, you have to work, but you should not desire to enjoy the fruits of your activities. So Arjuna says, if I want to enjoy, what will happen? If I want to enjoy, what will happen? Krishna says, you will become the cause of the activity. What's wrong with that? You will then become bound by the result of the activity, which means it will lead to bondage, karma bandhana. You'll have to again take birth, again you'll have to die, right? Become a Kshatriya again or a Brahmana again, whatever. Oh, perhaps it's better than I don't do anything. I stop doing anything. I stop working again because my work will lead me to bondage. So Krishna says, no, you cannot do that also. That is not permitted. You have to work. You must work, right? So here a principle arises, which is to be understood. What is Krishna indirectly teaching Arjuna? What is Krishna teaching Arjuna indirectly through this?
Nishkam Karma Yoga.
In Nishkama Karma Yoga, yes. In English, you want to tell, what will you tell? David Prabhu. Unmute, please. Huh?
Yes, if I'm right, like he has to be detached.
Detached. If you are detached, then what will happen? Which quality is being emphasized here?
No, if you are detached.
Two microphones. Yes, David Prabhu.
Then you I think something is wrong.
Cannot
Then
hear you, Dave.
if you are detached, then I think you begin to understand.
Ashok Prabhu, please keep your microphone off. Yes, David Prabhu, please.
Yeah, if you are detached, then you're beginning to realize yourself that you are not this body, and you raise up to.
Okay. Oh, fine. So basically, that is true. He is teaching him detachment. But there is something else which you can relate with easily, and you can tell people also. Krishna is telling Arjuna to become more selfless. More selfless, right? Selfishness means what? I work for myself. That's called selfishness, isn't it? I work for myself. That's selfishness. Here Arjuna is being told to become more selfless, that you work, but with the spirit of detachment, not just because you want to enjoy. That should not be the criterion, be more selfless. You work as a matter of duty. And why is Krishna telling that to Arjuna? Because that's what is the quality of a pure soul. Pure soul means what? Selfless, isn't it? Pure soul cannot be selfish. So that quality has to be developed. So that is being encouraged here, slowly to come to that level. Detachment should be there. So we have a very good lesson to learn here. I really like this definition of dutiful work. What is dutiful work? Dutiful work is defined as dispassionate, proper actions in which the performance is its own reward. Means I don't work to achieve something. I work just to work as a matter of duty, The work itself is the reward, not that by doing this, I'm going to get something. The work itself is the reward, right? I'm doing this just to do it as a matter of duty, right? I don't have strings attached, right? Okay, this will lead to this, 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 this will lead to this. No, I don't have that manipulative mentality or calculative mentality. I just do it as a matter of duty, that I have to do it for that way. I think today internet is very bad from my end. It's again and again breaking, going off, on and off, on and off, on and off. So that's explained here. Then Srila Prabhupada explains about different kinds of work. You are able to see the table?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Clearly visible?
Yes.
Okay. So this is explained in the purport. I want you to go through this table once, and then I can explain, or if you have doubts, you can ask. Different types of work: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction, called karma, vikarma, and akarma in Sanskrit. Then prescribed duties are categorized into three: routine work, emergency work, desired work. In Sanskrit, they are called nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma. Three. We discussed these three before, if you remember. Nitya, naimittik, and kamya. In Sanskrit. I did not put Sanskrit, but if you like, you can note it down. And the routine work, which is called nitya karma. Giving you an example of routine work. Getting up in the morning, taking a bath. That is a routine work. Do it daily, right? Or after taking bath, you go to the place of worship, and then you do some worship to the Supreme Lord. That's nitya karma, routine work. Then go to the kitchen, clean the kitchen, cook some preparations, offer to the Lord, then serve that prasadam or food to all the family members. That's nitya karma. Or get ready, go to your place of work. That's nitya karma. So these are things which you do daily, on daily basis, as a part of your life, routine work, as a matter of duty. So when you perform that as an obligation without desires for results, then that will lead to liberation. That kind of work will lead to liberation. because it will become Nishkama Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma. And if I perform that with attachment to results, then it will not lead to liberation. Then it will lead to
bondage,
a bondage or a better birth, but within the world. Means my situation will be better than before, materially speaking. My birth will be better than before, materially speaking, but I'll stay within the world. If I do with attachment to the results, even in a lawful manner, right? In a lawful manner. And Mataji, you're asking about Sukarma. There is no word like Sukarma. I don't know from where did you get that word Sukarma. Even you mentioned that during your presentation, right? There's nothing like Sukarma. If I don't know from where you got that word. Su means good. So maybe you are saying good karma, right? So there is karma, there is karma. And what about capricious work? What will be the result of that? Capricious means wrong activities, sinful activities.
Bondage.
It will lead to bondage only, right? Bondage, yeah. And what about inaction? Means I don't do what I'm supposed to do. I don't do my duties. That will lead to
Lazy, maybe.
okay, lazy. Then what? Lazy, and then you go back to Godhead.
No.
Spiritual.
It will still lead to attachment. It is the attachment on the other side, Prabhuji.
Means still it will lead to bondage only, no?
Yes.
Correct. Inaction will also lead to bondage, right? Capricious work will also lead to bondage. And prescribed duties can also lead to bondage if done with attachment. Only when prescribed duties are done with detachment, then it will lead to liberation. So now you can imagine, to bring a person, a normal person, to the path of liberation is not an easy task, because you have to ask that person to give up inaction. You have to ask that person to give up capricious work. You have to ask that person to even performing prescribed duties with attachment, right? You have to bring that person to performing prescribed duties with detachment. Then that will open the door to liberation. Otherwise, in other three cases, that person will still remain bound. So it's not an easy task actually, to bring someone from that life to the path of liberation, because that person has to really go through so much of transformation, so much of, cleansing, so much of purification. So many people in this world, they are engaged in capricious work, vikarma. So many people in this world, right? Or so many people in this world are neglecting their duties and responsibilities. Very few people are there who are engaged in prescribed duties. And then they also do that for some result. So the whole idea of bringing them to this particular mode of working, Nishkam Karma, is a challenging task. It is only possible by proper education, training, culture, support system, examples, role models of people living like that. Then only it's possible, isn't it? Correct. Otherwise, how is it possible? Not possible. So Srila Prabhupada made this society so that people can see examples of people who are living like this and then learn from them and become like that. All was in this. Okay, next verse. Let's go to the next verse. .30, sorry, 2.40. .48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Which yoga? You can underline and note there. Nishkama karma yoga. This equanimity is called Nishkama karma yoga. Okay. That I work without any attachment to success or failure. Which means what? You don't plan to become successful, right? Whatever you do, you just do in a way that whether you are successful or failure doesn't matter. You don't plan, right? That's what it means. That you don't plan. Like you want to give a presentation, so don't prepare for presentation, right? Don't plan for it. If you have to go for a meeting at 2 o'clock, then don't do any planning. Suddenly you realize, okay, it's time, let's walk. Then you walk to the meeting, or you take the car, and then if you reach late, doesn't matter. No planning is to be done. That's what it means. No, the part to plan is also the part of doing the duty. That you plan, that's also part of the duty, right? You try to go on time, you attend the meeting, you do the presentation. So it's not that we plan to fail. We do plan to do it nicely because that's part of the duty, right? We put the efforts in planning, in strategizing, in putting efforts in collecting resources, and whatever we are supposed to do, we do all of that. We do it sincerely. We do it with 100% input. But after we do it and we get the result, and the result is not up to our satisfaction, we don't really meet the result what we wanted, then we don't give up our duty. We still continue to do. That's the teaching here, right? Not then we become depressed and then we go to a psychiatrist. I need help, I'm frustrated in life. I put so much of effort to get things, but I never got those things. No, you don't go to that zone. You continue to work, continue to perform your duties. That's what is being explained here. Okay, next verse. Durena hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichha kripana phala hetavaha. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So Krishna is telling them misers. In Hindi we call them kanjus, right? Want to enjoy the results of their own work. That's called miser. So Krishna is saying, don't be a miser. Don't be a miser. Become broad-hearted, broad-minded. Share the result of your work with whom? Share with me. Krishna is telling, share with me. Give the results to me. Because if you give to me, I'll distribute it properly. Give it to me. Give up miserliness. That's the point here. So about we'll tell you an interesting story about miserliness. So, but before that, let's do this reading. Use God-given resources well. Dhananjay Prabhu, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna. Use God-given resources well. We have to decide, shall I work for sense gratification or shall I work for the satisfaction of the Supreme? If the latter, then our life becomes spiritualized. Spiritual life does not mean that we have to change the activities in which we are already engaged, or that our body will change to something extraordinary. The same body, the same features, the same activities, the same engagement. Everything remains the same. But we have to decide whether our activities will be done from the spiritual platform or from the material platform. Lecture Bhagavad-gita 49 to 51, New York in 66.
Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada is saying that you have to just choose You're going to act from which platform? The spiritual platform or material platform? The activities will remain the same, the occupation will remain the same, the identity designation will remain the same, the resources that I have will also be there, but then I'm acting in which direction? What is the orientation of my work, right? So now we'll give you a very interesting exercise. Take 5 to 8 minutes to this. Do this. It's a personal exercise which you have to do for yourself, honestly. Make a list of all resources, example, body, wealth, good job, etc., opportunities, skills that you have received from God, and elaborate how you can best utilize them in gratitude to please the Supreme Lord. This is for you to look at your own life, your own situation, what you have received from Krishna or God, and how you are going to use them practically in gratitude to please the Supreme Lord. Think about it, make the list. If you think 5 minutes is short and you need 5 hours to write this whole thing, because there's so much you can give in back, so no problem, you can do that after the class or tomorrow, or take the whole week to do that, right? But you can start doing it now for next 5 minutes and make that list. Yes, Pankaj Prabhu, you want to share? No sharing, this is for yourself.
Okay,
just for yourself.
I already prepared this.
Already prepared. Very good. No, that's wonderful. So you can write it for yourself. Take 2-3 minutes to write. Okay, maybe 1 more minute. If you need more time, later on you can complete this list. And if you like, you can share it later with me on my WhatsApp. Or even you can put in the chat box. Fine. So I'll tell you this interesting tale. Once there was a miser and he had huge amount of gold. So he went to the forest and he dug a hole there and he put all the gold inside the hole, covered with the earth, came back. Every day he would go to that place, remove the earth, soil from there, see if the gold is secure, kept secure, and then again put the earth and come back. And this he was doing for years and years and years and years and years. So one day someone noticed that this person is, having some valuable thing there. So at night that person went and stole away all the gold from there. So next day this person goes against his routine activity, removes the soil and finds there's nothing there. Everything empty. So he starts crying loudly. I have lost everything. Now I am on the street. I have nothing, like that. So one person came and saw him crying. So asked, what's wrong? Why are you so sad? Why are you crying? And that person, I lost all my gold. I lost everything. This was my life and soul. Now I have nothing. So that person said, what were you doing with that gold? So this man, I was doing nothing with that gold. I just kept it here in the forest, below the earth. I was safeguarding it, protecting it. So that man said, well, I can solve your problem very easily. He said, how? You just keep a stone in that hole, in that place where you kept the gold, and you imagine this is gold. Your problem is solved. Because though you had gold, you are doing nothing with that gold. You are just keeping it. So better keep a stone, think this is gold, and be happy. No problem. Right? So the story is, the lesson is that if you have something, you should be using it. Then it's valuable. If I just have it, there's no point. And second thing, I should use it to my best capacity. Here Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't be a miser, which means what? You have a human form of life. You have these qualities. You have these skills. You can use it for the best thing. And what is best thing? I am telling you to fight, so you fight. That is the best thing. And by doing that, you will get the best result out of your life. So don't be a miser. Being a devotee of Krishna, practicing Krishna consciousness means you are trying to do the best thing possible with your life. One can do so many things, but this is the best thing, because the outcome, what I will get in return, is the best. There cannot be anything like that, better than that. It is the best. So it is the best use of it. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, don't be a miser. What has been given to you, you use it intelligently, sufficiently, right? That's the point here he's teaching to Arjuna. Kripanaha phalahetavaha. Next verse now. So from this verses 50, 51, 52, 53, we'll learn about 4 benefits of Buddhi Yoga. Okay. 51, 52, 53. 50, 51, 52, 53. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Why this? If you look at the word, Sanskrit word, here it is kaushalam. Kaushalam, look at the last Sanskrit word in the verse, kaushalam. Kaushal means skill, and art. So Krishna is telling this is a very unique art of working, that you work and yet you don't become bound by the actions and reactions of the work. It's an art, it's a skill, and it has to be learned. How do you learn it? By understanding how to do it, right? And we will learn it more in detail in chapter 3, 4, and 5. How can I work without being attached to the result of my work? It's an art. How to do it? So that will be explained by Krishna. 4 benefits. First, it will give you freedom from good and bad reactions, even in this life. That's the first benefit of Buddhi Yoga. Regular attached work leads to entanglement of the soul, and detached dutiful work leads to liberation of the soul. That is the first benefit. Okay. How that person becomes detached? Arjuna was fearful. If I kill my sin, I kill my family members, relatives, I'll acquire sin for that. But Krishna is telling, if you work in a dutiful, detached manner and kill them, you will not get any sin. You will stay protected, right? So how does this detachment develop? What will help in development of this detachment? Two things. One is knowledge. One is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Second is when I start offering the results of my work to Krishna, then detachment develops, right? Offering the result to Krishna, giving the credit to Krishna. By doing that, the spirit of detachment will develop. Like, let's say if there's a child who doesn't like sharing, is eating chocolate, and the mother will say, give one chocolate to the other child also, to the brother or sister. And that child will say, no, 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 I don't feel like sharing. What will mother say? You share, then you'll start feeling also. You'll start feeling to share. You first share. That's the only way you can feel sharing, you know. First you share, because when you share and when you experience the joy of sharing, then you'll understand sharing is very nice. Then next time you will share voluntarily. So how do I develop the spirit of detachment? By first offering the result. When I offer the result, then I'll experience, oh, by offering the result, I'm more happy. I'm more satisfied, you know. By giving to Krishna, I don't lose. That will become one's experience. And when that becomes one's experience, then one wants to give more to Krishna. So that's how one develops that spirit. That's the first benefit of Buddhi Yoga. Then what is the next benefit of Buddhi Yoga? Verse number 51. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmukta padam gacchantya namayam. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. So what is the second benefit of Buddhi Yoga? One will become free from the cycle of birth and death, and one will go to spiritual world. That is the second benefit. Entrance into spiritual world. Okay. Annapurna Mataji, can you please read the slide?
Entrance into the spiritual world. Owing to ignorance, one does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. Out of ignorance only, less intelligent persons try to adjust to the situation by fruitive activities, thinking that the resultant actions will make them happy. They do not know that no kind of material body anywhere within the universe can give life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and diseases, are present everywhere within the material world.
Yeah, continue.
But one who understands his real constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord, and thus knows the position of the personality of Godhead, engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Consequently, he becomes qualified to enter into the Vaikuntha planets, where there is neither material, miserable life, nor the influence of time and death. 2.51 purport.
So this is what happens. When I start working in a dutiful, detached manner, then it will lead to Atma Gyan, knowledge of soul, realized knowledge of soul. How it will happen, we'll discuss later. I am not going to details now. It will lead to Atma Gyan, knowledge of soul. And gradually, then one will develop Paramatma Gyan, knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Okay. then what will happen? One will surrender to the Supreme Lord, because one has knowledge now and one is able to see the Supreme Lord. And then that becomes the reason for freedom from material world, and one will enter into Vaikuntha, spiritual abode or spiritual world. So this is how the progression happens, the steps from Nishkama Karma to spiritual world. How do you go there? These are the steps. Nishkama Karma Yoga will lead to knowledge of soul, that will lead to knowledge of God, that will lead to surrender, that will lead to freedom from material world, that will lead one to Vaikuntha. This is how it happens. These are the steps. This is the science, the process. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you engage in Nishkama Karma Yoga, right? Okay. I'll take your question, Prabhuji, after we finish this few verses. Govardhan Dari Prabhuji. Okay, next verse, verse number 52. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard, which means that no one will be able to then confuse you anymore on what is the goal of life. You will not become distracted. You will become indifferent to the rituals, right? You will not be interested in dry rituals. Like so many people we see in India, they are only interested in rituals. On Monday, go to this temple. On Tuesday, go to that temple. On Wednesday, go to this temple. On Thursday, go to this temple. Then on Friday, go to this particular tree and then tie a thread around that tree and then offer a lamp and flowers. Then on Saturday, go to this place. So many rituals, doing this puja, that puja, all fully lost into it. And suddenly if they come to know there is a new demigod, or there is a new sadhu, or there's someone new who is going to give you something really different what no one is giving, then they will go there also, book a ticket and go there to get darshan of that sadhu or that temple. This deity fulfills this desire, that deity fulfills that desire. So one will become indifferent to all those rituals. I'm not interested in all those rituals, right? I'm only interested in the goal, the real goal of life. Someone please read this. Yes, Paramita.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Indifference to rituals. The Vedic rites and rituals are imperative for neophytes, comprehending all kinds of prayer 3 times a day, taking a bath early in the morning, offering respects to the forefathers, etc. But when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. Yes. 2.53 purport.
I think it's 2.5. Anyway, that's okay, my mistake. So basically here what is being spoken is about someone who is really, really advanced. When someone is really advanced in Krishna consciousness, then that person can skip following certain rules and regulations, which new practitioners of bhakti yoga or spiritual life should be doing. So example is given in the purport. I'm not reading the purport. Sripad gives the example of a great devotee known as Madhvendra Puri. Gives an example. A prayer of Madhvendra Puri is given as an example, where he says, I'm no more interested in taking baths 3 times a day. I'm no more interested in offering obeisances to the demigods. I'm no more interested in doing this and that. Why? I'm only interested in worshipping lotus feet of Lord Krishna. But then that person is doing it 24 hours a day without any break, physical, mental, whatever. So if one is to that level of purity or spiritual development, one need not practice the lower levels of spiritual life or rituals, not necessary, right? So the lesson is, what is applicable for someone at some level of spirituality may not be equally applicable for someone else, different size, different shoes, like that. So here what is being spoken of whom? What is being spoken of whom? Really, really advanced. Yeah, you can say so, Raganuga Bhakta. So some principles of Vaidhi Bhakti will not apply. Okay, the fourth reason to, fourth benefit of Buddhi Yoga, the last verse for today, 2.53. Shruti vipratipannate yadasthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhis tada yogam avapsyasi. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. What is that divine consciousness? What is meant by divine consciousness? Achyutan Prabhu. Yes, please read.
Is it Bhakti? Bhakti Yoga?
Yeah, read the slide.
Fourth, divine consciousness. The highest perfection of self-realization is to understand that one is eternally the servitor of Krishna, and that one's only business is to discharge one's duties in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, one comes directly into communion with Krishna, and thus all directions from Krishna may be understood in that transcendental state. 2.54 purport.
Yeah, it is 2.53 purport. Actually, by mistake, I put 2.54 there. So here, that is called divine consciousness. What is that divine consciousness? That divine consciousness means at every moment you are talking to Krishna. You can hear Krishna speak. You can hear Krishna speak, and you will do whatever Krishna will ask you to do. That's called divine consciousness. And that is possible. All these great personalities, Madhvendra Puri, even our Srila Prabhupada, they are of that level of Krishna consciousness. That every single moment, what they speak, what they hear, what they see, where they walk, what they touch, it's all under the direction of Lord Krishna. Krishna will tell them, go to right, go to left, look below, look at the top. Everything he will do to them. Every single thing Krishna will direct to them. Krishna will speak to them, just like now we are talking face to face, like that. Krishna will speak to them. So that's called divine consciousness. And when one, you see, now please understand, if God is directly telling you, would you be interested then in reading this book, that book, getting knowledge from here and there? You won't bother about it at all, because the source of knowledge is directly talking to you. You have any question, you ask him. You ask him. So sometimes people ask this question, Srila Prabhupada has written so many books and he's quoting 1,000 other books. Has he read all of them? He doesn't have to read all of them. Why? Because when he's writing, Krishna is telling them, Shvetashvatara Upanishad, this verse, write it down. Simple. He's telling them. He's telling, Krishna is telling to him, you write like this. You give this example. You give this story. Krishna is telling, and he's writing. He doesn't have to know all the books to study. He doesn't have to study because he's directly in contact with the source of all knowledge. Right? That's called divine consciousness. So these are the 4 benefits of Buddhi Yoga. Now we can take questions. So Govardhan Dari Prabhu is saying, why in 2.49 Lord Krishna addressed Arjuna with a specific name, Dhananjaya? Any particular meaning? Yes, there is a particular meaning. Dhananjaya, the word Dhananjaya means winner of wealth. Dhan means wealth, Jaya means one who won. So Arjuna, he had won a huge amount of wealth to help Yudhishthira Maharaj in performing a great sacrifice. All right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have acted heroically like a Kshatriya in the past. Right? You have acted heroically like a Kshatriya in the past. I want you to show the same heroism now. Don't be a coward. Do your duty of Kshatriya heroically. In what way? Don't fight for yourself, fight for me. Selflessly word. Heroism means what? Selflessness. That's called heroism, right? You work for others' benefit, others' cause. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that don't go for your lower nature, go for your higher nature. You are Dhananjaya. You are winner of wealth for your brother. Now I want you to fight for me. So fight. That's what he's trying to tell Arjuna. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Paramita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have two questions. My first question is, what is 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹 sacrifice? It is mentioned in 2.42 to 2.43.
Yes.
And my second question is, what is 4-month penances to be eligible to drink Somarasa to be immortal?
Okay, good. So 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹 sacrifice is one of the karma kanda sacrifice given in the Vedas. 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹. What is it for? It is, I won't tell you the details because we are not anyway interested in it. The purpose is, by doing that sacrifice, you please the demigods to get a place in the moon planet. Want to go to the moon planet and become a resident there. Okay, so you do this sacrifice. That is called 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹. Now, what are the details of that? I don't care. Not interested. We are not interested to go to moon planet. So that is a specific sacrifice. Fine. And what are the 4 months penance? 4-month penance generally refers to the 4 months of Chaturmasya. Rainy season, autumn season. 4 months, Chaturmasya. So these 4 months are generally used by sages to practice some austerity, extra austerity. Why? Because it's raining, so they don't travel. They stay at one place. So while they stay at one place, they try to reduce their eating, their sleeping, do some tapasya, grow beards, don't cut their nails and hairs and stuff like that. Sleep on the floor. So that kind of extra austerity they do for going to heaven. And drink somaras. Somaras means it's a
wine.
Well, actually, the word wine is used here, but we should know it's not alcohol. It refers to wine as
made of some herbal something.
It's wine, like why the word wine means what? It can also refer to fruit juice, which has been, kept for a long period of time. That's not really as bad as that stinky alcohol. So here it refers to high grade quality of beverage, wine, in that sense. Not that demigods are drinking alcohol. They are not interested in drinking alcohol. So somaras is a high quality beverage for them, a pleasure drink. That's all. Okay, David Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. I've learned a lot of things today. I have one question I want to ask about the detached and doing something with that, expecting any results. Concerning about the Ratha Yatra, when I heard a story about the Ratha Yatra, I was so enthusiastic to take part of that. And we are having that on 23rd of July this month. So in my mind, I really want to be there no matter what, because I think to do that, you have a revelation from Lord Jagannath will bless you and it can help you to become a very pure devotee. So is it okay to think that way, or is wrong? I have to do that without expecting anything.
Good question. So you see, when you say not expecting anything, we are talking about not expecting any material benefit. If you are doing any activity to get spiritual benefit out of it, there's nothing wrong about it.
Oh, okay.
Right? At our level of devotion, when someone will become really, really advanced, then one will not expect any spiritual benefit also.
Oh, okay.
But we cannot imitate that level now. We cannot pray at that level now because we are not there yet. Right? So at our level, it's good to pray to Krishna to fulfill our spiritual desires. But someone who becomes really advanced, then they will not think about that also. But we cannot artificially come to that stage immediately, isn't it? That will happen over a period of time, over many, many decades or years it will happen. So for us, it's okay, no problem. To pray to Lord Jagannath like that is totally fine. No problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Ranit Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in 2.41, we spoke about one-pointed intelligence and multi-branch intelligence. So now in Krishna consciousness, if you're doing a lot of activities, lot of seva, various things, is that considered as multi-branch or is that considered as one point?
It depends on the purpose. If the purpose is one, which is to please Krishna, then it's one-pointed. If the purpose is not one, then it's multi-branched. So one-pointedness is not on the basis of you're doing one activity only. That's not called one-pointedness. One can be doing several activities. One actually does several activities. There's no person who just does only one thing. Like I said, no, you can't be eating throughout the day. You can't be sleeping throughout the day. You cannot be just cooking throughout the day. You will be doing so many activities. So it's not that activities decide whether it's multi-branch or one-pointed. It's the purpose, why I do that activity. So if I'm doing all those activities for one purpose, it's one-pointed. If I'm doing different activities for different purposes or whatsoever, I have different things to achieve, then it's multi-branched. That's the understanding. Yeah. Ratan Lekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, all the blessings from the Lordships to you for explaining so beautifully. There are 2 points that I want to know about. You talked about, rituals, and you talked about these are for elevated souls. Now, although we are in Krishna consciousness, how do I know that I shouldn't be performing those rituals after I die? Because there are certain ceremonies that have to be performed. I don't know in India, but in South Africa, we do that. And I don't know whether they need to be performed. Have I reached that kind of level where we can say, okay, don't do that? That's one.
So you are asking someone else should be doing those for you or what?
Yeah, somebody else. I mean, what do my children do then when I pass away? Do we just do a Hare Krishna ritual, or do I still do, the Barsi, as y'all call it, 13 days or whatever? Because I don't know whether I've reached a level like that.
Well, that doesn't matter. You see, because it's others who are going to do those rituals for you. Let them do the rituals thinking about whatever way they consider you. If your family members are there, if they still think that you are my mother and I should be doing these things, let them do. That's I mean, it's not going to harm you in any way. And the devotees will think, okay, this good lady, Ratnalekha Gopi, she has passed. Now maybe she's gone back to Godhead. Let us chant Hare Krishna for her. So let them chant Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Whatever they will do for you, let them do.
Okay, perfect. One more question. You talk about, in Bhagavad-gita, it talks about heaven. So can we say heaven is Vaikuntha planets? Because according to my understanding...
No, heaven is not Vaikuntha planet. It's Swarga Loka.
Okay. Swarga Loka, okay.
Where the demigods reside.
Okay, and Vaikuntha planets, I understand it to be, where Narayan is in the four-handed form.
Vaikuntha planets means any planet in the Vaikuntha world is called Vaikuntha planet. It is whether Lord Narayan is residing there, whether Lord Nrsimha is residing there, whether Lord Ram is residing there, whether it's Krishna residing there. Vaikuntha refers to not just one specific place, it is a category. Category. Right.
Okay.
Like for example, when I say you live in South Africa, so it can mean you live in any of the cities in South Africa. South Africa refers to the whole country, right? Correct.
Yes.
Likewise, when I say Vaikuntha, it refers to the entire spiritual world.
Okay, so my understanding is that you will still come back from the Vaikuntha planets, or unless you just go to Krishna's lok, then only
No,
you don't come
why
back.
you'll come back? If you go to Vaikuntha planet, you need not come back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
It doesn't matter whether you go to Krishna's lok or Vishnu's lok. Anywhere you go, that's permanent, eternal shelter. Vrindarani.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have 2 questions. The first one is considering the last last sentence on the purport of 245. it says, this transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. My question is, what does it mean to depend on the goodwill of Krishna? Does it mean that we should not be active, just depend on Krishna?
It means Krishna has a plan for you. Accept that plan. That means to depend on goodwill of Krishna. Krishna has plans for me, and I accept that plan instead of I depending on my own plans. I depend on Krishna's plan. Like for example, here, when we talk about the life of Pandavas, you can see Krishna is orchestrating every single event in the life of the Pandavas. It is Krishna who is doing all that, you know. Krishna is doing that, putting them in all the hardships and all those, you know, difficult situations. He is putting them, like really using them. Because he wants to teach the whole world so many lessons from the lives of the Pandavas. Correct? Isn't it? Because Krishna sees the entire picture. Maybe the Pandavas at that moment were not seeing the entire picture, but Krishna is seeing the entire picture. That through the Pandavas, I want to teach the whole world many good lessons. And is that not true? Millions of people, they are fascinated with the teachings of Mahabharata. And they learn from the 5 Pandavas so much. Right? Correct? So like that, Krishna actually has planned for every living entity. Every living entity. Krishna has planned how he wants to engage them in his mission, in his purpose, in his project. So to depend on Krishna's goodwill is that I very eagerly understand and accept that plan, and I cooperate with that. Whether I understand, whether I really appreciate it's going to work well for me or I'm going to be in trouble. No, I just accept, you know, knowing that because it is goodwill of Krishna, ultimately it's going to bring good to me. Isn't it? So that's what it means, to depend on God's will. Fine?
Yes, thank you. I have one more question. On the last session, you mentioned Jamila as an example that there is no loss on path of Buddha Yoga. Even a small effort brings results.
Yes.
But it can be understood on other way. A person might think, why should be strict my whole life? I can go sideways. Krishna is anyway bhagavadgita, and he will eventually help me.
Correct. So Krishna will also keep note of that. Right? He's going to keep note of everything. So in Ajamil's situation, Ajamil did the mistake, but Ajamil was not thinking that let me play games with Krishna. He did a mistake. He didn't want to, you know, get over smart with Krishna, right? So in this example which you are giving, or situation which you are describing, it's like we are trying to play with Krishna. I will cheat you. So then Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, I am the best of the cheaters. So that's wrong. That's a cheating mentality. Krishna will not entertain that. If one is not cheating, one is somehow due to accident or mistake or weakness, one goes astray, then Krishna will help that person to come back. So it's not going to promote people to cheat. That's not. Who can cheat Krishna? Cannot. Right?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, 4 more hands up. Others, if you are, if you want to leave, you can leave. 3 o'clock, the official time, you can leave. After that, it's all extra time. All right, it's extra time. After that, if you want to stay, it's up to you. If you want to leave, you can go. Sureka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, once me and one of the devotee who is again neophyte like me, we were discussing about Nishkam Karma Yoga. He told me that Nishkam means you do not have the desire of fruit, but you are attached to a particular karma. As I will not do the duty in kitchen, I'll play only the instruments. And akam karma, he explained that it is without the desired fruits and without attachment with the activity. But according to my understanding, akam means you are completely inactive, and nishkam means
the word it's akam or akarma. We can say akarma. So we'll come to that later in 3rd chapter, 4th chapter. Discuss the word akarma in detail later. So keep your question for till it will get solved, because Krishna is going to explain this in more detail later. Same thing. So we'll discuss that. Annapurna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question was, having more desires is bad for our spiritual progress. But suppose if in the material world we have to learn a new skill, so we have to put our time and effort into that. Maybe it's for an official reason or unknowingly we desire it. So how should be our approach in suppose we have to learn a new skill?
Okay,
but it is not connected to spiritual world.
Again, 2 situations. As you said, one can be it's a genuine need. If you learn that skill, then you are going to switch over your job or switch over your profession, and it's going to help you in your material life. So that's a material need. Nothing wrong about it. One can do that. But then it should not become just a gratification and keep on learning new things, just because I want to be an achiever everywhere, right? That's not healthy. That's not healthy, because gratification doesn't just happen in a gross manner. Gratification also happens in subtle manners, right? Like, for example, I remember one person, he was a big celebrated actor. So he was telling, I have no more material desires. I have only one desire. In next life, I want to become a good singer. So like that, one may not have a very gross desire, but one may have these subtle tendencies, So that is also not very healthy. So instead of developing so many such tendencies, like some people are there, I want to become a good chef also, good singer also, then a good musician also, then I want to be a good speaker also, and like that, good in everything. That is also not very healthy, because the point is, whatever little good you have, we have to use that to give pleasure to Krishna. That's the whole purpose, and that will bring me complete satisfaction, and I'll achieve perfection in life. So I should just focus in that. Why I want to become good in everything? That is, in another sense, trying to be actually a competitor of the best, who is Krishna. That I want to become like you, good in everything. Only he can be good in everything, right? Only Krishna, he can be good in everything. I cannot be. Even if I try, I cannot be good in everything. So that's why if it is material need, we can go for it. If it is just like time pass, I want to learn something new, then one should not waste one's time on that. One should not do that. Unmute, please. Unmute, Mataji. Unmute.
So we can drop it automatically.
Yeah,
so that we don't.
Yeah, drop it. I mean, no need to learn, because there is no dearth to material learning also. There's so many things to learn in life, There's no limit to that. You can keep on just learning, new things. But one should not waste one's time in doing that. Until unless it is something really, really useful to you, whether materially or spiritually. There's no point in learning new things. Whenever devotees would approach Srila Prabhupada, that can I learn this, can I learn this, can I learn this? Prabhupada would say, already there's a lot which has been given to you by Krishna. Just use that and use it nicely. If you're a good singer, then just be a good singer and sing for Krishna's pleasure, and try to make your singing much better in quality, in devotion, right? What's the point? If let's say you know harmonium, then just be a good harmonium player, learn it nicely, play nicely. But you want to learn harmonium also, then a saxophone also, then drum also, then guitar also, then this also, then that also. What's the point? There's no end to that. Right? Okay. Neha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, my question is, what are the symptoms of super soul Paramatma within us?
Symptoms?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Exactly, are you asking for symptoms? Symptoms of Paramatma?
Like the symptoms of the...
Soul is consciousness, that's what you are saying?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so basically when you say symptoms, it means manifestation. Like how do you perceive the presence of Paramatma? That's what you want to say? Like
yes.
I can perceive the presence of soul through consciousness. So how do I perceive the presence of Paramatma? Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
There are no gross symptoms for the presence of Paramatma. No gross symptoms. But there are subtle symptoms. What are the subtle symptoms? In the morning, after I have slept at night, and in the state of sleep, actually I don't know anything. I don't remember anything. I'm in total ignorance. In the morning when I get up, immediately I'm able to recall, this is my name. I'm in this place, right? This is what I'm supposed to do today. So who is giving me that remembrance? Bhagavad-gita says it's Paramatma who gives you that remembrance. So it's a gross symptom. If Paramatma will not be there, at night you sleep, in the morning you'll get up, you'll ask people, what's my name? Where am I going today? What am I supposed to do? if Paramatma doesn't tell us. So Bhagavad-gita says Paramatma gives us remembrance, Paramatma gives us knowledge, Paramatma gives us intelligence, guidance, right? Instinct. Heard this word? Instinct. My sixth sense is telling me so. So that is Paramatma guiding us, helping us. But there is no gross symptom of Paramatma. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Govardhan Dari Prabhu, last for today. Yes.
My question is right in there.
Oh, your question is written there. Can you mention regarding the specific shlokas from second chapter of Bhagavad-gita recommended to be recited, studied, or taken into consideration when someone is in the process of leaving the body, which means a person is personally leaving the body, and from chapter 2. But why chapter 2, Prabhuji?
There is some, okay, I have been in the service of taking care of devotees who are in the process to leave the body in Vrindavan. And before, since years ago, I know about some shlokas that we shall study with them, trying to make them conscious to don't be attached to the body. Okay. Like Matas Parchastu Kaunteya, all this. There is some particular shlokas.
So in that sense, if you say, as such, there is no scriptural injunction that one should read chapter 2 only of Bhagavad-gita while leaving the body. I mean, there's no such scriptural injunction, right? Devotees may come up with such list just to help them or something like that. There's no scriptural injunction. So if you say if you look at the context, then you can say any verse which is giving you the knowledge of soul is going to be good enough, which can mean verses from 13 to verse number 30. Any of those verses, because those verses talk about soul and body. Verse number 13 to verse number 30. All of them, they talk about soul and body. Directly, indirectly. It's the same message coming from all those verses. So one can recite those verses, right? Because in scriptures, there is no specific verse given like that from chapter 2. So we can look at the context and we can choose those verses. Any verse from that section. What is given in the scriptures is when a person has passed away, then you should recite Bhagavad-gita chapter 7 and 8. After the person has passed away. That is given. In Gita Mahatmya, recite chapter 7 and 8. So while that person is leaving, then we can recite these verses from chapter 2. Or, one can recite different shlokas from Bhagavatam or different scriptures, whichever is relevant. Yes, Prabhuji? Yeah? Okay, Prabhuji? Fine. Thank you so much, everyone. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m.